I heard from many was it's a discomfort, it's an uncomfortable feeling. Somebody said, well, something like it's a feeling of anxiety that comes in. It's a mental, what was the word you said? Agitation of the mind. Fantastic. I think these are very good definitions. What we're trying to show from all the definitions, when we have a normal state, we all have a normal state. Stress is taking us out of that normal state. Agreed? So whenever there's a discomfort, it takes you away from that normal state. And that's what stress really is. That's how we define stress. I've put a little bit of definition over here. I say stress is a form of pain, discomfort, pain, anxiety, that comes to tell me that there is something which I need to change. It could be changing my expectations. It could be changing the way I look at things. It could be changing perspectives. It could be changing probably the environment. And it could be changing so many things I can possibly do. But it has a message for me. And so don't ignore it. If you have stress that comes to you, it's a message. There's a kind of pain that comes to you. Watch it and say, okay, what's this? What do I have to do in this situation? What is this really asking and demanding of me right now? And then when you start looking and focusing on that place, you'll start seeing that if you take some action, your stress reduces. If you don't take action, you're going to continue staying stressful. If you ignore it, it's not going to help you much. You might just say, okay, let me just go play a game and come back and I'll feel okay. You go game and come back, you'll feel okay for some time. But then again, if you've not resolved that issue that causes you stress, you're going to feel stressed again. It's very important for us to take note of the stress and see what is that I need to change, rather than just ignore it or simply say, well, that's a part of it. I got to know from some of you what causes you stress. Anything else besides a few that we heard in terms of expectation not being met, or the gap between what you expect versus what is actually reality? Anything else that causes stress? At home, do we have stress at home or it's only in the office?
We are dangerous.
Usually we have a lot of stress at work, so we go home and we feel much better, right?
Yes.
We feel it.
Lack of control. When you know that you're in control of things.
Definitely, some of them will be saying to relax, they may be going office.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yes, so it's interesting. Some of you are going to the office because you feel that's why you go and relax. Okay.
Indecisiveness leads to
Indecisiveness. Somebody who's not able to make a decision, postponing every time. Somebody mentioned procrastination as well. So these are some things that cause stress. Anything else that causes you stress? Think about yourself, and this is very important for me to understand what causes you stress. So just think for a minute, what causes me stress?
facing a terrible boss.
Facing a terrible boss. Yes. Possible, and I'm sure the terrible boss would say facing a terrible employee. It happens both ways. So they speak about usually at the workplace, at home, these are certain things. Separations and families are very stressful as well. And then at the workplace, they speak about, yes, like you said, a very difficult boss, very stressful, difficult employees, lots of noisy environment, colleagues who don't cooperate with you. Sometimes being overqualified for a job or being underqualified for a job. Both of them can actually be stressful. But these are actually triggers of stress. They're not really the cause of stress. And I want to show you what is the real cause of stress. But before that, I want to ask you, all these aspects that I mentioned to you, what do you think is common amongst all these that they cause stress to us? What's common among all these things? One is thinking, good, very nice. What else is common in all these things? What are the common factors about moving a house, about separation of family, about being promoted?
Change.
Well done. Change. Change is the most common factor that you would see which triggers stress. Doesn't cause stress, triggers stress. Because two people can have the same nasty boss, right? The same nasty boss, two people, he can speak the same way to both of them. And one person says, oh, there's a lesson to be learned from here. Or this person always behaves like this is nothing really harmful. That's his character, that's the way he behaves. The other person goes, how dare he does this to me. And he can really be stressed and worked up. I'm not going to work with this person anymore. Have you seen that? Yes. When two people can have the same environment, the same trigger, but they do not respond in the same way. So what do you do next? So somebody worked out, somebody would go for a walk. Anything else?
Try to pray.
Someone does meditation,
Pray. Breathe.
breathing techniques.
Go to the nearest bar.
Go to the nearest bar and drink. Okay, that's
You pray.
you pray. Very nice. You see the spectrum? Okay, good. Interesting. Then what else? You yoga.
Dancing.
Talk to someone and give them all your stress. That's a nice technique. Accepting as it is. Nice one. Accepting as it is. Good. Anyone at the back? Well, the back people have no stress. Sorry? Limiting my expectations. So making sure that I change myself in terms of my expectations. And that can help reduce stress. Okay, good.